What's going on, Rock?
Not much, man. What's happening?
Oh, not a whole lot. To our viewers right here, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Off the Gas and On the Mic with Chase Holland. Here joining me today is a very familiar face. You guys have seen him ever since really the start of our YouTube channel. Rock's been with us from the very beginning, and I'm very excited to have Rock on here to talk to him about his life and everything like that. And I think it'll be pretty interesting to you guys because a lot of people ask all the time, where did Rock come from? What did Rock do before this? Is this Rock's job? When's Rock going to blah, blah, blah? So we'll clear some of that stuff up today. What you say?
Let's do it.
You're listening to Off the Gas and On the Mic with Chase Holland.
All right, so starting off, let's. How old are you, and when were you born?
I was born February 7th, 1963 in Gulfport, Mississippi.
I figured it'd have been in Long Beach, so that's interesting. I didn't know that. How many siblings did you have?
I had one brother and one sister. I was the caboose.
The baby.
Yeah.
The youngest.
Yep.
But well, that's interesting, and I've heard several stories about your brother, and he was an innovator for sure.
Absolutely.
Very sharp. So, what did you guys do for fun growing up? What did life look like as a child?
I got abused because they were both older than me.
Abused by them or abused by the parents?
No, abused by them.
I got you.
I got set up all the time, but that's all right.
Well, give us an example. What happened?
They used to tell me I was adopted, and you all kinds of crud.
You look like them, but you
it.
were adopted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you believe it?
When I was younger, yeah.
But I'm sure you gave it back to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Well, what is your like growing up as a child? What is the first thing you can recollect of being in trouble? What'd you get in trouble for at first as a child?
Well, when I was growing up, it didn't matter if I was in trouble or my cousins were there and they got in trouble. We all got in trouble.
Everybody was in trouble.
Absolutely. Huh? Guilty by association.
But like what? What did they do that y'all all would get in trouble for?
Well, I mean, times were different then, you know.
Right.
If you were told to go outside, you went outside and you played. And if you did something you weren't supposed to or come inside, there were repercussions.
There wasn't any screen time back in the day, huh? No tablets, phones, TVs,
Negative.
Nothing like that.
Negative.
Huh.
And you didn't get a bottle of water or a Coca-Cola. No, there's a hose out there. Drink out of it, you know.
Well, back then, was it considered like I mean, you could be getting a Pepsi, a root beer, whatever. Was it grab me a Coke or grab me a pop?
Yeah, Coke.
It was Coke.
Yeah.
Everything was
If you
Coke.
wanted root beer, it was root beer.
I got you.
But usually, times were kind of hard. You had root beer extract that was mixed with water.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
It was good.
Interesting.
And every once in a while, if you was real good, you'd get Kool-Aid.
What is the name? What's the brand of Kool-Aid right now? It's the Red Man. What's his name? The Kool-Aid Man. Isn't that the name?
Yeah.
Was that established back then, or was it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Been around for a minute, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what did you play any sports growing up? Like
football.
Okay.
And grades kind of took me away from that, so.
Never was real big into school, huh? Mm-mm. Just kind of.
No.
Live for the weekend to an extent?
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. Well, what about, when did you meet Uncle Albert? You grew up with Uncle Albert, huh?
I was fixing to say.
Yeah, we pretty much grew up.
From the time I can remember.
So let's go into that, because that's the most common misconception is a lot of people think that you're my dad's brother. They question that. They're like, why do they call you Uncle Rocky? So I'll let you tell how you got the name Uncle Rocky.
Well, when we were growing up, Albert, which is your true uncle,
right?
He's your grandfather's brother. But when we were growing up, if you were older than us, you were told to call them uncle or aunt if they were family member, and that's basically how I got Uncle Rocky.
Right.
I'm not really your uncle. I'm actually
You're a cousin.
your third cousin. Right.
Yep.
You're my third cousin. So
It sounds weird to be like Cousin Rock.
Uncle Rocky sounds better.
Yeah, much better. So, anyways, when did you start to love cars and everything? Did you have a love as a child?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I wore Tonka trucks out as a kid, man.
Really?
And they were built heavy duty
Yeah.
back then.
And you wore them out, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's all I'd do on the weekends, you know, or when I could play. I had no choice. I mean, it was get out and
That was
get
it.
after it.
Move
Yeah.
some dirt.
Yep.
Well, were you a fan of dirt track racing as a child? Was it something that you got introduced to as a teenager? When did you?
Yeah, I would say I was probably 10 or 12. We got to go to the old Twin Oaks right there in Long Beach, you know, West Long Beach.
That was a dirt track?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know about that one.
Yes, sir. Back in the day. I got to go with Uncle Albert, of course, you know, and enjoyed it, man. And we used to go to the old Biloxi track.
Yeah, what was it called? Was it 67 Speedway?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
It's right through the woods here.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
So, what was your favorite car growing up? Like if your dream car as a teenager, like if you could go pick it off the lot, what were you going to get?
I'm a Chevelle guy.
Okay. Chevelle guy.
Yep.
Not a big Ford guy.
Nope.
Never
Well,
have been.
Some of the Ford body styles I like, but
Okay.
powertrain, I'm a Chevy man.
You Chevy man. As far as that stuff goes, I knew you had a love for cars and everything like that, hot rods and stuff like that. Y'all were always tinkering in high school, so you got a T-bucket at some point.
Right. When I was, I first started my own, or started a job when I was 18. I mean, I had jobs before that, but this was a real job.
Right.
And about a year later, I made friends with a guy, and he said, man, I mean, we can get you into this T-bucket, you know. And I said, okay, sounds good. So that's where what little bit of money I was making went, you know.
Funneled straight into that.
Absolutely.
And that's where it all began. Your addiction to hot rods and cool things like that.
Speed, yes, sir.
Speed.
Yep.
You went to several car shows and things like that. Did you ever win any?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a couple. As a matter of fact, I've had my wife show me up, you know, like driving games that we'd have at the car shows. And she'd want to drive, and we'd actually win. And
Really?
oh, yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
But she'd do exactly what I told her to and how to do it, and boom.
That was it. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let's talk about that. When did you meet Aunt Rhonda?
Oh, my God. we met in high school, but on again, off again, you
Right.
know, and I finally figured out that she was good for me, and she's my angel, you know.
Well, when did you guys get married?
That's a good question. November the 16th, 91.
91. Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, along the lines of that, I know that you and my Uncle Albert have some really, really good stories. So, and if you don't want to touch on those, I'd love to talk about the one where I forget what exactly took place, but y'all were blocked in at the bar and he backed her up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me about that one, please?
I'll tell you about it, but I'm not
You don't have to give locations or anything like that.
We come out, and we had several adult beverages, and I said, man, we ain't going to get to go nowhere. He said, what do you mean? I said, we blocked in. He said, oh, yeah, Bubba, I got it. He said, get in. I said, Bubba, we can't get out. We're blocked. He said, get in. So I got in. He was driving Monte Carlo at the time. I think.
Big body.
Oh, yeah, I think it was a 74 or 75 Monte Carlo. Well, buddy, there was a Volkswagen behind us, and he put her in reverse and got up against it. I said, man, you just hit that car, Bubba. He said, oh, no, I'm not through. And he just floored it and pushed it all the way around, and we backed out. I said, man, I ain't believing you done that. He said, they'll be okay. And we went on.
And that's just one of you guys' stories.
Oh yeah, we've had several.
That one still to this day makes me chuckle. Yeah. So what'd you do for work whenever you your first job? What was that job?
I worked as a vending machine attendant and mechanic on the Navy base in Gulfport.
Gotcha.
I worked there for 14 years.
And at the end of that 14 years, that's when you decided to become a fireman?
Well, I actually decided about 11 or 12 years into the job that I wanted to do that. But before I become a firefighter, I knew the guys at the station, right. So I'd go there and hang out and see if it was for me. And then eventually I said, man, I'm thinking about joining, And they said, well, come with me.
Bring it on.
So I walked outside, and we got some used turnout gear, and they said, if you want to do it, this is a way to find out. So they worked with me, and I loved it.
Really?
Yep.
So along the lines of that, we don't have to go too deep into it, but like I don't want you to have to, talk about past trauma within it, but let's talk about the good times in it. What was your favorite thing about being a part of the fire academy and stuff?
Oh, just being able to help folks. That was to know that you did something good for someone else and help them. That was the best feeling in the world. And we didn't brag about it or nothing, but occasionally you'd have somebody that you helped you'd meet them somewhere and they're like, I remember you. I said, uh-oh. So how do you remember me? You were my angel. I said, excuse me? Oh, yeah, you helped me and my daughter at a wreck or something, and it was like, well, good deal. I'm glad you're doing good,
That's the part of it that you got out of it.
Yep.
That was your favorite part.
That's it.
I can see why, for sure. Well, what was one of your favorite memories? Let's talk about a memory, an exact.
I would say the night that I got hired, because the guys that I knew, a whole bunch of them come to the house, to mine and Rhonda's,
right?
Because I was married, and they lined my sidewalk and driveway up with beer bottles and rolled our cars and our trees and threw Mardi Gras beads all over the place. Well, while this is going on, they didn't realize that my old cur dog I had in the backyard, I could tell by the way she barked if it was an animal or a person. And my wife woke me up and said, hey. I said, what? She said, that dog is just barking and barking. And I listened. I said, that's somebody. I thought someone was in the yard. I said, I'll take care of it. So I go and look out the back. She goes to turn the lights on. I said, don't turn the lights on, So I look in the backyard, nothing there. And the dog's looking out front. I said, okay. So I go to the front blinds and open them up. Here comes two of my buddies. They got beer under their arms and empty beer bottles in their hands, and they're coming up the sidewalk. I said, oh, I got them. So I eased the front door open because it was dark, cracked the latch on the storm door. And right when they got to the edge of the sidewalk, I threw the door open. I'm not going to tell you what I said, but I threw the door open. And, man, I'd have given them $1.5 million that I've never had to have a picture of their face. They took off running, and I chased them down the road. I'd say that's one of the best memories that I've of being together with them,
Well, who ended up cleaning the yard up?
All of us, because when I run them down the road, and there was one of my buddies lived down there, and we stopped at his house, and we turned around and looked, and my wife's out there pulling stuff out of trees.
She's already cleaning.
Oh, yeah.
Already
said,
on.
All right, boys, let's go. So we all went down there and cleaned up.
Well, that's pretty comical right there. When did you have your daughter? You have one child.
Right. 1996.
Gotcha. You did that, and on the side, you were a boat mechanic as well.
Yep.
That was one of your favorite jobs.
No. Well, let me rephrase that. I enjoyed it.
Right.
But, I mean, as a firefighter, you most of us had second jobs.
Right.
And when I wasn't at the station, I was at the boat shop, and did that for 20 years. And then when time came for me to retire, I said, nope. And then this redheaded fella come into my life and
started dirt track racing and
yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. So you were a boat mechanic. You retired from being a boat mechanic.
Yep.
And you were still working at the fire department.
Yep.
I started racing, and you and Uncle Albert had come to Hattiesburg once or twice. This is my recollection. It's been a while, so correct me if I miss a couple of things. But you guys came to Hattiesburg a couple times. Brooke and Jennifer actually were there the night that I won my first race.
Yep.
So we won our first modified race there. You guys were there. It was a great night. And several other times throughout that you were there. And then when I remember you actually got serious and like went with us regularly was when we got our MB. It seems like right before the MB time, we were hot and heavy with the Hughes. This was in, I believe, 2019, pre-COVID.
Yeah, I tried to go as much as I could, but I was still working.
That's
but
right.
In 2020, late 2020, I decided I was going to retire, and you had just got or was fixing to get the MB.
Okay, that's right. And then, so that was in November and everything. We got the MB Custom, October, November. And then that following March is when we went to Bristol. So that's a great story. What about you, my pawpaw, and Uncle Albert loaded up in a pickup truck with our side-by-side hooked up to it. And this is our first out-of-town trip, past 3 hours away from the house.
Right.
And y'all loaded up.
For y'all.
Right. Yeah. And you guys ended up in Kentucky, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that was Uncle Albert, yeah. I told him 3 or 4 times, which highways. He said, oh, yeah, I got it. I said, okay. So when we hit Tennessee and we get almost to Bristol, he decides he's going to go west. And we ride a ways, and I seen a sign that said, welcome to Kentucky. I said, hey, Hoss. I said, made a wrong turn there. He said, no, we're going right. I said, Albert, we're in Kentucky. He said, what? I said, yeah. I said, stop at that rest station. So he pulled over. Sure enough, we were in Kentucky.
How far from the racetrack were y'all at from the racetrack? Excuse me. How far from the racetrack were y'all when you realized that, when y'all were entered into Kentucky?
Well, I don't believe it's time as much as mileage. I mean, because we were riding along talking, me and George and Albert, having a good time. And then when we stopped, the guy at the rest station told us that, he said, man, you're going to have to go an hour and a half, 2 hours back to hit that highway. And I said, no. And I said, there's no way to cut across. He said, oh, yeah. He said, there's some road construction up here. I said, okay. So I went outside, and then I decided I'd break out the old smartphone and got on the little maps, and I wanted to get on Al pretty bad, and I told George, we were standing there, I said, I'm going to cuss him. I said, when he comes out, I'm going to cuss him, because he had went to the bathroom. Well, he come out, and George started giggling, When he started giggling, I said, I can't do it. So we load up, and I said, man, look, instead of going all the way back, let's go up. So we wound up going across Kentucky into West Virginia and then back into Tennessee.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
I remember Dad telling me, I don't know where I was. I think we were unloading the trailer.
We passed y'all on the way there, remember?
Yeah, waving and everything.
Yeah.
Y'all were, and I believe that's right around where it forked and everything. We were relatively close. We ended up staying the night in the parking lot right across from the drag strip. We wake up. You guys are in the parking lot. Y'all had just pulled in or something like that, and we thought y'all went and had breakfast. We didn't know at the time.
No.
Well, Pawpaw had his sunglasses on. This is what Dad told me. I don't know where I was, but he had his sunglasses on, and he was a little crabby. Something was going on, and Dad was like, when did y'all get here? And he said my Pawpaw pulled those sunglasses down with bloodshot eyes and said, son, we haven't slept. We drove all night. We went to Kentucky. and we were like, how did you miss that bad? How did you wind up all the way up in Kentucky? And
have you ever traveled with Uncle Albert and him driving?
Briefly, like 30 minutes here or there.
Okay, well, the first time you take an adventure with him, you'll understand why. That's all I'm going
No
to say.
GPS,
None.
just guessing the whole way, faking it till he makes it.
Old school map, atlas.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like an adventure.
It was.
Obviously, made a lot of memories off of that.
We had a good time.
We did. We had a great time at Bristol. But so let's step back again off of that, because like I said, that was your first out-of-town trip with us as far as that goes. But you retired from the fire department, and you said, y'all are going to get tired of seeing me here soon. I'm fixing to start helping you guys pretty regularly. And we were like, we're not going to get tired of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
We welcomed you in with open arms, super excited. And man, I'm glad you did what you did, because we couldn't have done what we've done all the way up into this point without you. But especially that year when you showed up, it was perfect timing, because that's when we really started to grow and everything else. And we definitely needed you and wanted your help.
Well, it wasn't because of me, but I mean,
Played a major role.
I enjoyed it, I really did. I still do.
And I guess that's the thing. How long have you been working here? It's been 3 years?
Going on 4.
Going on 4. That's insane.
Come February.
Wow.
Because, see, I retired in February, and we went to Bristol in March.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Well, yeah, so that long. And man, like I said, we enjoy having you. It's definitely, we all have our differences at times. We're family, everything. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like I said, there's nothing like having you with us, working with us, hanging out with us, and your perspective on things. That's the biggest thing about you that I have a lot of respect for, and Dad has a lot of respect for. We see things a certain way, and then we ask you, we're like, Rod, what do you think of this? What about that? And it's always, and it's not a bad thing. It's just, like I said, it's what we're looking for. We're looking for that perspective that we're not looking at. And you're like, well, have you thought about this? And what about if I was this, then that's how I would feel about it, and this and that. And it's like, that makes a lot of sense. So more than physical labor, it's the mental outlook on things that you have, the perspective on life that you have that's really beneficial.
Well, I appreciate it.
Well, yeah, sir. And then I guess going along the lines of that, you've been with us, you said going on 4 years now. What has to be your favorite thing around here?
Seeing you with that checkered flag, man. That makes it for me.
Well, thank you. Like I said, we couldn't do it without you, and that's the most enjoying, the thing I get the most enjoyment from, which I know everybody does. When you're racing, you're here to win, but it's just a relief because you guys put in so much work. So, like I said, that's just a reward to all of us. So, seeing you guys happy means a lot. But as far as in the shop, what has to be your favorite thing to do, work on, or be a part of?
All of it. I mean, whatever I need to do.
If you had to pick one thing, though, let's say you come in the shop that day and you've got to do one thing. What is that one thing that you're looking forward to doing?
Either taking the front end apart or putting it back together.
See, I hate doing that.
That doesn't bother me a bit.
Just a lot of steps to it.
Yeah.
So, what has to be your least favorite thing to do? Like, if you see it on the board, you're like, oh, my goodness.
Well, I guess the thing is, I don't pick things off the board, I'll see if something needs to be done, I'll ask you,
Right.
And as far as the least favorite,
you got to pick one. Just one thing that you just absolutely can't stand to do on either car, late model or modified.
I'd say rebuild the front end after you've hit a wall.
So your favorite thing to do is front end maintenance, but your least favorite thing to do is to replace front end components
after you've torn them up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, fair enough on that. But that hasn't, knock on wood, that hasn't been the
agree.
case this year. Now, when we ran USMTS, that was almost every night we
Yep.
were fixing all of that stuff. Had to, you know.
No,
What's your thoughts on Mikey?
Mike's a good cat. I like Mike, man. He's a hard worker. Now he's got a line on him of BS, and you gotta know how to read in between that.
Oh yeah,
But Mike's a good dude. He's dedicated. He works, no questions, just gets after it. You know.
yeah. No issues with him, huh?
No, none.
Never had any beef with him.
The only issues I have is when he's mumbling because I can't hear well, and I have to say what, you know.
Yeah. Well, typically what he's mumbling is
He don't even know what's being
yeah, he
said. He's
doesn't,
not
yeah.
paying attention.
yeah. Well, cool. Well, like I said, we've appreciated having you with us and everything that you do for our team. We definitely couldn't do what we do without you. You're a major part of this deal. And I guess let's talk about that really quick. What has been your favorite fan interaction that you can think of off the top of your head throughout your years of being here? Like, what's one thing that you can think back on and be like, man, that right there, I know they're all special.
Oh, they are, every one of them. You know, just meeting different people special, you know. And, I guess, well, there's two sides to that. You know, in the beginning, I was kind of freaked out because I'm in Deer Creek, Minnesota.
Right.
Don't know anybody except for the family. And some guy hollers, Uncle Rocky. I'm thinking, well, somebody I know's here, you know.
Yeah.
So I turn around, and I don't know this guy. And your dad leaned over and said, get used to it. I'm like, oh, my God, you know. But then on the other hand, as time went on, it's gotten a little easier, you know. Hey, how you doing, you know. It's a good thing to meet different folks.
It is.
And also, I never would have dreamed people would have offered me the opportunities to go hunting in their states.
Right.
You know, so, man, look, I got this. If you want to come hunting, you're more than welcome. And that tickles me to death.
I hate it hasn't come forth yet. Like, we haven't been able to make it happen. But, yeah, I do think that's the coolest thing ever, that people are like, yeah, you can come to my spot, and we killed this. And you're like, wow, you know,
Yeah.
that's like 3 times what you can kill down here. So, yeah, I think that's really neat as well.
It's amazing.
It is.
And it's very appreciated, you know.
Right. Well, what's your favorite event? Like if you could only go to one event in a season, what event would you pick?
Well, I know it's coming up. I'd have to say Fall Classic.
Really?
Yep. Well, there's several, but I would say the Fall Classic for the simple fact I know how well you run there, and it scares me. And I'll get on you about tearing that spoiler and that right rear quarter up, but I love to see you put it up there and sling her around, buddy. There's nothing finer.
It is, man. That place provides some really, really cool racing that close to home. It's perfect.
I call it like I see it, and that's it.
Well, that's interesting that you say that. That's not one that I would have figured you would have said, but now that you bring light to it, for sure, it is a really neat event. Well, let's talk about out on the road.
Okay.
What if you had to go to one event out on the road? You could only go traveling one time. Where are you going?
Fairbury.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You like Fairbury?
I love it. The Prairie Dirt Classic. Now,
right.
I mean, that place comes to life. You know.
Isn't it crazy?
It is, man. I mean, I never would have dreamed in the middle of a town and houses that there would be a racetrack and everybody sitting in their yard barbecuing.
They support it. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, they're behind it 110%, and it's like, wow, you know.
It's certainly eye opening, especially coming from here, where racing is really just kind of underground. Nobody really knows about it. You ask people in Walmart, hey, you heard of dirt track racing? You go to your local dirt track, and they're like, no.
What's dirt track?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you talking about where they go straight? No, that's drag racing.
Yeah, yeah, and then you go up north, and they're like, yeah, we live literally a block away from blah blah blah, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
We can see the racetrack from our front porch, and it's like, that's awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd have to agree with you. Fairbury is definitely one of a kind, especially the way the town takes into that race and everything like that. It's a really neat community thing. The atmosphere is unmatched.
It
for
is.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, as far past all of those things, how much longer do you feel like you're going to be working around here? How much longer are you going to travel with CHR? I know that's the common question. Everybody's like, when's Uncle Rocky going to stop going? When's Uncle Rocky this, Uncle Rocky that? And it's like, we hope he never stops. We hope he continues,
I'm going to do what I can do while I can do it, you know?
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm going to keep on keeping on. There's going to be times where I can't and times that I can, you know?
Right.
I mean, it's like I was telling you this morning, you know, or yesterday morning. It's tough sometimes being away for 2 to 3 weeks. It really is. And when I'm gone for that long, especially right now that hunting season's coming up, but when I'm gone that long and things get put off and put off and put off, when I get back, now I've got to double up and triple up because I'm not getting somebody to do something for me, you know.
It stacks up quick.
Yes, it does.
Yep. Well, we totally understand, but man, like I said, we greatly appreciate you going out on the road and everything that you do for CHR. You're a vital part to CHR.
Well, I appreciate it, man.
We definitely couldn't do it without you, and I don't just say that because you're family or anything else. Like genuinely, you definitely are a cornerstone to CHR, and we appreciate everything you do here, and we look forward to having you out on the road for many years to come, and everything else as well, and. Like I said, I'm sure that'll make a lot of fans excited because that is a common question: is Uncle Rocky's not going anywhere, right?
Mm-mm.
So,
nope, not unless something happens. But I mean, that's anything, you know.
That's right. That's right.
Life, but as long as I keep on keeping on, you'll be seeing me. Maybe not as much, but
you'll be there.
That's right.
Well, good. Well, Uncle Rock, thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed it. I feel like this is a great podcast, and we'll have to get Uncle Albert on here one time and get y'all two to tell us about all of the adventures that y'all two have been on together.
You don't want that.
Oh, I do. I'm sure they want it too. Y'all comment down below if you would like to hear about some of the things that those two have gotten into.
Well, let me tell you, Hoss, from the bottom of my heart, I dearly love you, and I'm proud of you.
I love you too, Rock. Thank you.
Keep on doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's going to conclude this episode of Off the Gas and On the Mic with Chase Holland Racing. If you like what you heard, please hit the like button. Please share this podcast. If you didn't like what you heard, let us know. I'm sure we can fix it in some way, shape, or form. And if we can't, we'll just tell you to go on now.
If I need to beat him with a rubber hose, I'll do it.
There you go. So, nonetheless, thank you guys so much for your support.
Thank you for listening to Off the Gas and On the Mic with Chase Holland. What'd you think about what you heard? Please follow for more content just like this.